Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Daytona. Due to some technical issues, I do apologize, but we are starting the actual commentary part of the broadcast a little late. But you will see the field accelerating out of the hairpin, and an HYR Henrique will lead the field to the green flag once again here at Daytona. Immediately, the prototypes single file out. The GT seem to be a little bit slower getting up to speed, but it is Most Stretch who leads in that category. Meanwhile, your leader, HYR Henrique, trying to hold station over Figgy Boy. Figgy is in the car that won the last two stints. Henrique is in the car that came home second in the last two stints. And then just a little bit behind them is AFMG Saki, followed by AMS Bread and Silent Drifter, who is going to try and likely do that three-stop strategy that we've talked about multiple times today, hanging out in the fifth position. A little bit farther back from them is DMS Sherry, who seems to just got split 3 wide there by several other cars. There's a little bit of contact. Sherry goes into the dirt. He hits the 91, and there's contact. There's 2 cars involved. One of them is Silent Drifter, the other is AMS Bread. There's 3 cars involved, actually. It looks like Figgy Boy may have been involved as well. Complete damage on this machine of AMS Bread. What about Silent Drifter? How damaged is his machine? It's total. The front is destroyed. And for Figgy Boy, who's just now got rolling, who had spun out of the second position, that car is destroyed. A 3-car accident in the bus stop chicane on the very first lap here at Daytona. They will likely do a lobby restart for that. So yes, that's going to be a mandatory lobby restart by the looks of it, due to a 3-car accident which started when the leader, so I said our second place driver had an accident in the bus stop chicane and 2 other drivers involved. So a multi-car accident right away in the bus stop chicane, and we are going to have to do this all over again. Don't know how long it's going to take to get the field ordered back up here, but real quickly, let's look at the driver list. So Two Stone is going to be back in that Mustang. Most Stretch is going to be back in the Oldsmobile Cutlass. He made that fantastic run around the outside early on in stint 1, but disconnected. He has to just hope he can make it to the end. Joe Kimbo, who won the first 2 stints, is back. Floppy Disk Hero is going to be come back, and the other Merker. Then we have Green Echo and LMP Dragon in the Audis. In the top category, we have lost an entrance, sadly, but it will be HYR Henrique who will be starting up front, then Figgy Boy in the lone Mercedes. After that, give it a little bit of time, but it looks like it's going to be AFMG Saki in the Mazda, then Silent Drifter there, who's going to be 4th. One lad will be 5th. 6th AMS Bread will be 5th, sorry. Then it looks like one lad will be in the 7th, because PM1 TU528 will be starting in 6th. It's going to take him just a little bit of time to get this organized back together here. If I get a chance, I'll try to knock out a Twitch-mandated ad break here, so that way I don't have to cut into the actual race broadcast proper if I can help it. Alright, so it looks like one lad will be starting 7th, 8th will be DMS Sherry, 9th will be AFC Cypher, 10th will be Derluki, 11th will be Sinarius. Then in the bottom category, Most Stretch will be starting 1st, Joe Kimbo 2nd, LMP Dragon 3rd, Two Stone 4th, 5th will be this, and 6th will be Green. Okay. All right, loading onto the circuit. Attempt number 2 here at the start. We have dropped 1 prototype, so 1 prototype entry has withdrawn from the event at this stage of the race. Turn the ticker off just for the moment. I like using this camera for the start. I think this camera is absolutely fantastic to see the field rush through just as they go green. You can see them rolling by in the background there. All right. And here we go. Can you hear them accelerating yet? Is Henrique going to get another great jump? Yes, he does. Henrique pulls off a great leap over front Figgy Boy, and we are green flag once again here at Daytona. The prototypes are already by, and now here goes our GT category. But Henrique stays ahead of Figgy Boy. Figgy was the one who spun and caused that stack up there in the bus stop chicane on the prior attempt. He needs to avoid letting that happen again this time. Real quickly, we're going to jump on board with Sinerius as he looks up ahead at the field of cars. Sinerius, last place of our still running prototypes. One prototype has withdrawn. There's a little bit of fighting action going on up the road as the field now begins to funnel down through the bus stop chicane. Can they keep it clean through here this time with no multi-car accidents? And they do, by the looks of it. So more than likely, we will stay green. At the front, it is Henrique, but Figgy Boy runs second, and it is Saki and Bread, AFMG and AMS going at for third and fourth position, and then you got that Porsche of one lad just a little bit behind. We know that one lad drives this Porsche with a lot of straight line speed, but not a whole lot. Oh, and there's contact already! And that is the AFMG entry of Saki, and he's gonna drop to fifth position now. And all of a sudden, now he's under threat from cars from behind. Derluki is there. Derluki won a stint earlier, but has not been able to finish the two stints afterwards. DMS Sherry moving up positions. Sherry is fast, but has not been able to avoid problems thus far. Oh, is that Cypher? That's Cypher. Cypher has gone off for the second stint in a row. The AFZ Aston Martin entry having issues. There's a little bit of transmission damage, but no other damage on the car. He will be able to continue. Our top two already breaking away from the field just a bit. One lad has gotten by AMS Bread now for the third position. But again, that Porsche, the setup that one lad has on that Porsche is not very happy when cornering and turning. It just does not have the handling. It had a big accident in the prior stint, and that's what shunted it way down the grid. Needs to avoid that same thing happening again. Brad trying to run the Porsche's draft, but right now I think one lad may have a shot at trying to get Figgy Boy's draft here before the start-finish line. Henrique's opened up a little bit of a gap on Figgy Boy. Yeah, here comes one lad around the outside, completes the overtake. One lad takes second position, but he's got to be careful here in turn one. And he's got it! One lad, not struggling too much now, turn one, not this time. Oh no, there it is, there's the twitch. There's the slide, but he's already up into the second position. Next driver we'll need to focus on will be HYR Henrique. Henrique in that Mazda that is very good at cornering. One lad in this Porsche that is very good at top end. And Figgy Boy is in that Mercedes in third that is relatively well balanced all around. And then you have AMS Bread here who is in this Aston, which is another all around well balanced car. Brad trying to make a run on Figgy Boy. Figgy seems to be starting this stint a little bit slower than we anticipated. Gets touched from behind there. Looks like he has a little bit of engine damage. That's not going to help by any means. Okay, now we're taking a look at one lad. Is one lad going to rush to the front of the field, put the pressure on HYR Henrique? Already, he's running down the Mazda up ahead of him. The gap is rapidly closing down. You can visibly see both cars at the same camera shot sometimes. He gets right behind the Mazda before they go through the bus stop chicane. One lad has a good entry and a respectable exit as well. One lad still second. But he lost some time to Henrique through the bus stop chicane. I don't know if he's going to be able to catch Henrique by the time they get to turn one. Gap continues to whittle on down. Joe Kimbo leads in the GTO category. I'll focus a little bit more on that later, but right now, one lad has a big run on Henrique, but cannot get alongside going into turn 1. And now they're coming back to the infield section. This is where that Mazda is going to be a little bit stronger. AMS Bread has actually gotten by Figgy Boy, so Figgy falling back just a little bit early on here. I wonder, is Bread running some for a softer tire compound? He's already at 23% fuel. Yeah, I think Bread is on a softer tire compound right now. Henrique is only at 16% tire wear right now. One lad in this Porsche is at 26%. So, yeah, one lad is on a softer tire compound as well. So Henrique trying to lead on this harder tire compound, but now he's got one lad right behind him. If one lad can just put the power down coming out of this hairpin that will bring you on to Speedway Turn 1, he'll easily clear Henrique by the time they get to the bus stop chicane. Oh yeah, this will be easy. One lad commits to the outside, Henrique holding the inside line. He actually hits the outside wall there, but that straight line speed advantage is just insane. He has to jump onto the brakes real early. That means Henrique also has to jump into the brakes early so as not to run over the rear of that 188 machine. Oh, a little bit of contact as it come out of the bus stop chicane. Henrique looks to the outside. But now one lad gets the power down, starts peeling away in a straight line all over again. And AMS Bread is now going to start running down on both of them. Derluki has also moved up into the 4th position as well. Derluki, I believe, is also on a softer tire compound. And Figgy Boy just does not have the pace that his teammate had in this car. He is dropping backwards, it seems, but with engine damage, that's probably a big factor in that drop-off right now. So the HYR car entry has finished second the last 2 stints. Are they about to turn that around? They are leading on the strategy that puts them on the harder compound tire early on. One lad is leading on the strategy that puts you on the soft tire compound early. Real quickly, let's go ahead and look down in the GTO category. Joe Kimbo leads. Most Stretch is in second. Most Stretch was the only driver able to put any pressure on Joe Kimbo in the first 2 stints. Floppy Disk Hero runs in 3rd position. LMP Dragon is back here in 4th, the highest of the Audis. This is the Audi that won the last 2 stints. If they can keep this Audi on the lead lap, they might still be in an overall good position here. Floppy Disk Hero putting a little bit of pressure on Most Stretch, more than Stretch is putting it on Kimbo here. All right, real quickly, looking at this fight for second. AMS Bread now behind Henrique. Bread has a straight line speed advantage over Henrique. He also has a significant tire advantage, so he should be able to catch Henrique and overtake him without too much issue, you would expect. But we also are anticipating that Bread and one lad and Derluki will all be pitting well earlier than Henrique. Boy, closed down to about a car length, maybe a half a car length going into turn 1. But now they get into the infield. This is where Henrique is going to be a little bit stronger. Oh, that Porsche up ahead very nearly slid himself off circuit. One lad may have gotten to the lead, but he is not running off. He is struggling keeping that Porsche on track. I think it's very likely we'll see one lad get overtaken by Henrique on track before he makes a pit stop. All right, so Bread now runs behind Henrique. In here, in the twisty sections, this is where Henrique is a little bit stronger. It's on the straightaways where Bread will really show the speed of his own Aston here. All right, through the oval sections of the circuit once again now. Bread has a run on Henrique. He's going to go to the outside. He is. Doesn't have quite the sheer speed that one lad does, but he has better tires. Henrique says, okay, fine, you have it. He actually backed out early. So Bread goes right up into the 2nd position. So now I'm curious to see if Bread is going to run down this one lad and pass him, because if he does, he's going to have to do it likely either in the infield section or coming out of the bus stop chicane. And mind you, this group is coming up on GTO category traffic momentarily here. And speaking of GTO category traffic, Most Stretch is in 2nd position. He sees Joe Kimbo ahead and is starting to close down on him. We know that Most Stretch is very fast and very capable here. He needs to be able to make it to the end of the stint. Cannot afford a disconnect. Green Echo has dropped out. And our first disconnect was the last place driver in the GTO category. We'll try to reach out to Green Stretch, see what he has to say, but frustrating to see him drop out this early. So now there are only 5 drivers in the GTO category. One lad has already been overtaken by Bread. I was so focused on that fight for a second. Already, Bread has gotten by one lad, but now they're coming onto the straights. One lad is in this Porsche that is ridiculous monster in a straight line. This is going to be the peak circumstance for one lad to get by Bread. If he can catch the draft off of Bread and not have a mistake going through the bus stop chicane, he can probably outrun him to turn 1. He almost outran him down there to the bus stop chicane, but this Porsche struggles through the chicane, just like it does through the infield. Big slide, still there. I think he's going to be able to beat Bread to the start-finish line by the looks of it. He's got the speed. He's got the draft. Looking to the outside. Oh, Bread's already pitting? We're only 11 minutes in, and he's already made a stop. He's already at 50% tire wear. My goodness. As opposed, this one lad who now takes the lead back is at 56% tire wear. He'll likely have to pit after this. Again, these drivers are on soft tires. That was a very, very early pit stop by Bread, though. Way earlier than I would have ever expected to see him commit to. And now he has to navigate traffic here. AFC Cypher has also fallen way off the back of the field after going off circuit. Ooh, that Audi, a big slide there, just in front of our second place driver in prototype, Henrique. You have Derlucci just a little bit farther back. Derlucci here is likely going to be paying at the end of this lap as no, he's got a lot more tire life. He'll be out here for a bit, I guess. I think Henrique may be in a good position. It does not seem like anyone else really has pace to match him, at least based off of what we're seeing early on. Henrique is going to maybe be able to walk off. This HYR Mazda has come home second the last 2 stints. Can it maybe finally get a stint victory? Although navigating all that traffic is not really going to help him a whole lot. Still, he'll go by around the outside of 3 different GTO cars. That is Derlucci just a little bit behind. Traffic has worked out in Derlucci's favor. Oh, and is that the move by Stretch and Kimbo? Yes, it is, side by side. Stretch and Kimbo, neck and neck at the head of the field. We saw Stretch pull this move up before. Is he going to make it happen again around the outside? No, not this time. He actually backs out of it. He's going to try to crossover on corner exit. That Merker ahead slides a little bit wide, but puts the power down. Joe Kimbo holding station over most Stretch. And third place, Floppy Disk Hero is right there as well. All of a sudden, the Audis have been neutralized, and they're nowhere close to the podium positions all of a sudden. Henrique has fallen back behind Derlucci. And this one lad continues to lead in that Porsche with the very, very bad tires. 67% on that right rear. He's likely going to be at about 70% when he finally pits. He has a little bit of engine damage as well, but with 8% left in the tank, surely he'll go ahead and pit this time by. He's been out here for about 14 laps on this set of tires. Derlucci runs just ahead of Henrique right now. Henrique a little bit quicker, a little bit nimbler through the bus stop chicane, but I don't think he's close enough to get a draft on Derlucci. And Derlucci is nowhere close enough to get a draft off of one lad. But it won't matter, one lad pits about 14 minutes into this stint. So your leader is Derlucci. We've had 4 different leaders in the first 14 minutes here. And we are starting to see some strategy randomness play out. Floppy Disk Hero also pitting very early as well now. But most Stretch has overtaken Joe Kimbo. In the ball, they're not overtaken yet. They're still side by side. Prototype whips it around the outside. This time, is most Stretch gonna make the outside line work? Joe holds the inside. No, Joe is a wise to most Stretch's move. It may have happened some 6 hours ago, 8 hours ago, but he is wise. He knows the move that most Stretch likes to pull out. Most Stretch is gonna have to figure out some other way to get by Joe Kimbo here. 15 minutes in to a 100-minute run. So AMS Bread and this one lad both have gone ahead and made their first stops already after starting the race on the softer tire compound. It is Derluki, Henrique, and then a lot farther back, Figgy Boy. Can Henrique do anything to Derluki this time through the bus stop chicane? No! He's closed in a little bit, but not enough to get the draft. So what of our GTO category leaders? We ride on board with most stretch. The gap to himself and Kimbo's opened up just a little bit now. Trying to keep an eye on two different battles for the lead. Not really a great run through there for these cars. These cars are so much heavier. They don't have nearly as much sheer raw power. So you have to be really careful for that bus stop chicane. Most has got the draft on Joe, and he is running Joe down. This is gonna be it. Could this be the move? Joe Kimbo defending the inside. Most stretch is gonna go to the outside. There's prototype traffic coming up behind them. Side by side for a lead in the GTO category. He tries to split them up through the middle, and Joe Kimbo is gonna hold it as Most stretch gets knocked off circuit just a little bit by the prototype category. And here comes the leader. Oh, and that was Cypher. I think it's Cypher who just got in to our leader, Joe Kimbo. And Most stretch has been run off circuit. Joe Kimbo's been hit as well. So both of our leaders compromised a bit by prototypes. And here come the rest of the prototypes now. Big twitch by Derluki. Henrique gets a run on him now. He'll be close enough to get the draft on Derluki this time. Around Speedway Turn 3, through Speedway Turn 4, and now they come off the banking and onto the straightaway. Henrique has a great draft, has good ability to brake very late. He looks to the inside. Derluki throws the block. Henrique's going to try the long way around, trying to diamond the track, and then we'll cross him over on corner exit. Big twitch by Derluki. Henrique may have got him. He does! Henrique to the lead. And in the GTO category, it's still Joe Kimbo with Most stretch just a little bit behind him. Prototypes have cleared them, so they won't have to worry about prototypes messing with them for a little bit longer now. Doesn't look like Most stretch is close enough to do anything to Joe Kimbo this time. So once more, we take a look at our prototype fight. We're about 19 minutes in. 62% wear already for Derluki, for Henrique, who is in a car that doesn't have as much top end. Only 55%. They could probably stay out for another lap if they so choose. So Henrique, off the back of tire management, has now gone back to the front of the field here. And while Derluki is somewhat in the same zone and same pace as Henrique, Derluki was not able to finish the last two stints. The ability for Derluki to run to the end is very up in the air. Coming out of the final corner, are these drivers going to pit? Henrique is going to stay out another lap. So does Derluki. What a Figgy Boy, who's a little bit farther back here in the third spot. What's his strategy looking like? He stays out another lap. He's got a little bit of engine damage, but he could probably make this work. Then you have Sinerius and AFMG Saki just a little bit behind. They're fighting their own battle. They actually are doing a little bit better on tires than Fig there. Oh, Figgy Boy hemorrhaging time right now. Saki. Yeah, all these drivers are likely going to be pitting at about the same time here. Also, DMS Sherry's gone ahead and pitted now. Right on board with Saki. All three of these drivers have very, very worn out tires. I think we're going to see our top 5 in prototypes all pit at about the same time here. Joe Kimbo is now starting to open up the gap on Most stretch. So that fight may have resolved itself. AFZ Cypher pits out of last position in the prototypes now. Our top 7 still have yet to pit. We anticipate Silent Drifter will be running long on the harder compound tires. This one lad in AMS Spread, mind you, they started on the softs. They are on an alternate strategy. So while in Stint 3 and 4, the strategies kind of flattened out, now we're back in Stint 5, and the strategies have kind of opened all over the place, all over again. Watch these three drivers fighting for third position. Go through the bus stop chicane. Big slide and twitch by Figgy Boy. And there goes Siderius around his outside. Saki not close enough to do anything to him, though. Enrique pitting, Derluki pitting. Yes, here they all come. Siderius, Figgy Boy, and Saki all jumping into the pits now. What of PM1? Is he going to be paying this time? Yes, he is. So what of Silent Drifter? Drifter is going to stay out and will inherit the lead as they are on what we believe the hardest tire compound right now. Everyone else was on mediums, we believe. This is the hardest tire compound for Silent Drifter. And he'll go into the lead once again. The real interesting question is going to be, for this one lad and AMS Bread, how many drivers are they going to overtake while they're on pit lane? Well, there's your answer. They're by everyone except for Enrique already. And these two are actively fighting on track. There's Enrique coming out of pit lane. They're by him. Now, these two drivers are on more worn tires. They're on a radically alternate strat. They started on the softs. One lad, Brad, fighting for the second position. Silent Drifter is well up the road compared to the two of them. And Enrique, just a little bit behind. He has got no one around him. Derluki way fell off of Enrique. So Enrique completely in his own zone. So it looks like we have four different strategies. Silent Drifter's strategy, which will likely be the 3-stop. Enrique's, which we think will be the 4-stop. And one lad in AMS Red will likely be something closer to a 5-stop here. AMS Red has just enough speed to stay in this one lad's draft, but one lad has a ridiculous amount of straight line speed, is actually slowly pulling away from Brad, even when Brad has the draft. But Brad has a balanced car, so that means that compared to one lad who has a car that's just really good in the straightaways, Brad can close in a lot in the braking zone and in the corners. Closing in on that Porsche. Once again, that was the Porsche that won Stint 1, but its results since then have been all over the board. Joe Kimbo still has yet to pit, but everyone else in the GT category has already made their first stop. It seems like no one in the GTO category is willing to believe that the 3-stop strategy is the way to go. So many of them keep committing to the 4-stop, but it's just not working out. This fight for second continues here. One lad in Bread. Brett is absolutely thrashing his car. Real quickly, let's look at the tire wear of these drivers. They're going to be in a drag race coming out. 52% already for Brett. So Brett went back-to-back runs on the soft tires. He is by one lad, but one lad is on a harder tire compound. Puts the power down, sliding the tires a bit, but he's got the draft on Brett, so he should be able to blow right back by him without too much issue. They are coming up on traffic, though. A little bit of GTO traffic. I think that's LMP Dragon just ahead. One lad looking at the outside. Oh my goodness, Brett has to go below the double yellow just to try and pass traffic, and he'll lose a position to one lad in the process. All three of these cars very nearly losing it there, going through there. And Joe Kimbo pits about 24 minutes in to the stint. So now all 5 GTO drivers still running have made their first stop a little earlier than anticipated. But Joe Kimbo is still on track for a 3-stop strategy. Everyone else looking to run something closer to a 4-stop. Your leader is still Silent Drifter, who is on what we believe is a 3-stop strategy as well. And right now, one lad goes wide in turn 1, and Brad will get right back by him. One lad has a better strategy than Brad right now. I wonder if someone told Brad that going all softs in the night would go better for him, because this is strange to see him go soft so early in the event. Brad might go for a 6-stop strategy, depending on how this goes. Trying to navigate traffic right now, and it is not working out very well for either of this duo. One lad hits Brad from behind, going into the braking zone of the second hairpin. They fire it out of the second hairpin, run down this really short straightaway. Now onto the hairpin that will bring you back into the oval section, into Speedway turn 1. One lad goes high. Brett has to go high as well, though, to avoid traffic. The pure top end is massively in one lad's favor, but Brett has the handling advantage. Once again, Brett goes to the outside. One lad inside, side by side now. One lad's already completed the overtake, is back in front by the time they get to the bus stop chicane. Bit of a twitch, bit of a slide twitch. One lad still ahead of Brett as he came out. Brett's gonna shoot to the outside, side by side for the second position just for the moment. But again, the sheer speed is going to go to that IARA Porsche. He starts opening the gap, and Brett says, I've had enough. His tires are cooked. He's going to pit now. Silent Drifter, who is your leader, still has yet to make his first stop. He's been out here for about 26 minutes. Could probably pit at the end of this time, so he is just doing a good time, turning laps on his own. Then you have HYR Henrique, who put on mediums for the first stint. Probably another set of mediums, if not outright hards here for this second stint. So again, we believe that Henrique is on that 4-stop strategy, which has been the dominant strategy for the last 2 stints. AMS Bread, soft is such an interesting choice to run with. And one lad, right in second, is the highest he's been able to run for a little while. He's run the last few stints, and it's just been such a struggle in this Porsche. It's wicked fast in a straight line, but the handling just does not exist for it. Now through Speedway, turns 1 and 2 once again for one lap. Just to give you an idea of like how much one lad is struggling here, we are going to go ahead. We're going to have to take a Twitch mandated ad break shortly here, but we're going to go ahead and ride on board with this one lad in this Porsche. I'm going to use the hood cam actually. Yeah, there we are. We're going to ride on board with this one lad's Porsche for a full lap here around Daytona. We'll be back momentarily at Daytona 24-hour circuit. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll welcome you back here to Daytona. Your leader is now HYR Henrique, as this one lad has finally made his second stop about 29 minutes into the event. About a lap ago, Silent Drifter made their first stop. So Henrique is your leader now, completely in a zone of his own. No one else is anywhere close to him. Sinerius is having a good run early on, though. Here in second place, just ahead of HYZ Derluki. AFMG Saki is back here in the 4th position. 5th is Figgy Boy. DMS Sherry here in the 6th position. Then you go back here to 7th place. It's this one lad who's going to be trying to outrun Silent Drifter. And Drifter will actually clear this one lad. But one lad has just made his second stop. Doesn't have a lot of fuel in that tank, so I think that he may have put on maybe another set of soft tires. So it looks like one lad and Brad are likely committing to more pit stops, going for sheer outright pace. Silent Drifter is going for fewer pit stops, trying to minimize time on pit lane. So real quickly, in the bottom category, your leader is Joe Kimbo. He has made his first stop. He is about 4 or 5 seconds ahead of most stretch here. Oh, has Derluki gotten by Sinerius? Yes, he has. Going into the buzzstop chicane at that. Not coming out of it, but going into it. So Derluki clears Sinerius. And again, Sinerius is in one of these Mazdas. They don't have great top end. Derluki is in a car that's a little bit more all around. Sinerius is in the Mazda, which is a little bit better on the tires. It doesn't have quite the top end. He's looking to the outside, trying to use the draft to be side by side. Who goes deeper in the corner? It's Sideris who goes way deeper. And around the outside, he makes it stick. He's gotten ahead. Derlucci hits Sideris in the rear. And Sideris, while he doesn't have that top end, he's able to utilize the draft to pull himself alongside Derlucci. And then in the side-by-side braking battle, he's more confident in the car's ability to brake, went deeper and around the outside, made it stick. Fantastic job by Sideris there. All right, but and he's off! Sideris has gone off in this big bend. He hits that outside wall. He's still off circuit. He falls all the way back to the 6th position. Might even lose more than that. A fantastic overtake followed by a tremendous mistake. And Sideris drops out of the top 5 positions. So Derlucci now goes up into the 2nd position all on his own. But he is nowhere near Henrique right now. And now it is AFMG Saki who will be the next driver, putting the pressure on Derlucci for the 2nd position. DMS Sherry runs in the 5th position. You can see that trio of prototypes just ahead. He wants to be there so bad, but he's just not quite close enough. Figgy Boy runs just a little bit behind AFMG Saki, who runs behind Derlucci. So these three are on a little bit of a draft train with each other right now as they fire it down the front straightaway again. All nose to tail. Now we see Saki pulling to the outside of Derlucci. Is he going to try and go the long way around in turn 1? No, not quite. He sure thought of it, but is not going to be able to make it stick. They're right there. And they fire out of that first infield hairpin. Saki and Derlucci right there. Figgy Boy just seems to be a little bit off the pace compared to his teammates, but that might not be a bad thing. If he just hangs out here in the 3rd, 4th position, drafting behind other cars, he could still bring home a great run. Reminder, this car won the last 2 stints. They are in contention, I would argue. H-Wire Henrique, though, is your overall leader and will likely maintain the overall lead, even after Stint 4 distances are accounted for, because they have finished 2nd in both Stint 3 and Stint 4. Wow, he really went for it. AFMG Saki really went for the move! He really went for the move and got by Derlucci going into the bus stop. That was fantastic! And now Figgy is the one right behind Derlucci. So Derlucci seems to be struggling just a little bit here. Now we see Figgy Boy going to the outside. Derlucci inside, Figgy outside. Neck and neck across the line. Figgy has the car ahead. He will complete the overtake. And while he is a little bit wide in turn 1, they make contact, door-to-door contact. Figgy runs wide. Derlucci goes back into the 3rd position. And now DMS Sherry is just about to catch this group. Great news for Saki. This gives Saki a chance to try and open a gap and run away. Bit of a twitch for Derlucci as they came out of the first infield hairpin. Not quite nose to tail between them. Now we see he goes just a little bit wide. 275 is going to be wide. They're still not quite side by side. Derlucci's not going to go deep on Figgy Boy going into this corner. And now Sherry is right here as well. Big slide, big twitch by Derlucci. Derlucci now has a draft off of Figgy Boy. He'll try to use that as a defense here against DMS Sherry. Sideris is well behind this group, not really in a position to fight against them. Nose to tail, firing it off down into the bus stop chicane once again. No big move this time through here. This time Sherry has a better run than Derlucci. He's going to go to the outside, but Derlucci has the draft on Figgy Boy. Now we see Sherry fall back in line behind Derlucci. Derlucci pulls up behind Figgy Boy. Nose to tail for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Now Derlucci's going to go to the outside, side by side for a 3rd position once again. Barely, it's Figgy Boy at the line. Who goes deeper under braking? They make contact. Here comes Derlucci. He's trapped on the outside. Contact now between Sherry and Derlucci, and Sherry will get by. Sherry now moves up into the 4th position. Now he looks to the inside. Cannot make it stick going into the hairpin. Figgy holds on to 3rd for just a little bit longer over that number 49 machine. Now they fire it off down into that high-speed bend. Just about nose to tail. Sherry gets run into from behind that time by Derluki, as Sherry backed out so he wouldn't run into the back of Figgy Boy. Saki is not running away from this group as fast as I thought he would. I thought Saki would be gone, but there's a legitimate chance that Saki will fall back into the clutches of this trio. Enrique has opened up a gigantic gap on the rest of the field. Right now, no one else is on Enrique's level, it would appear. But this fight from about third on back, potentially second on back, is still absolutely wild in early on here at Daytona. Nose to tail, almost all the way through. And yeah, Figgy Boy is just about to catch Saki all over again. So I think Saki may have a setup that's just not quite as top-end focused. I mean, he is in one of these Mazdas, so that wouldn't surprise me. But if Figgy Boy and Sherry don't spend too much time fighting with each other, they can use the draft to run Saki down, and I think that's what we're seeing happen here. They've also started to leave Derluki behind as well. Although Derluki closes back in a bit under braking that time by. Yeah, Figgy Boy now catching AFMG Saki. So now it is second through fourth all on top of each other. Second through fifth all on top of each other, technically. And now it's Sinerius who's starting to run down this group. And don't look now, but this one lad back there in seventh also is starting to run down on this group as well. Most of these guys are on similar strategies right now. They all are, a lot of them are in different cars, but the performance of the drivers and the cars and the tunes all seem to be relatively even to each other. Okay, Figgy Boy has caught Saki. He's got better top end, and now he has a draft. This should, in theory, be a relatively easy overtake. He's looking to the outside in that Mercedes. Now he falls back in line in the draft of the Mazda. Now he looks to the inside. He's going to be side-by-side under braking. He's going to try to be side-by-side under braking. Neck and neck as they go into the bus stop chicane. He clears them. Figure Boy goes up in the second position. But now Saki has a great run coming out. Goes back to the outside, side-by-side as they go in to Speedway Turn 3. Still side-by-side as they go into Speedway Turn 4. DMS Sherry is right there in fourth watching this duo. And Sherry is going to pit. Sherry says, I'm not going to spend too much time here. He pits, but Figgy Boy and Saki are going to stay out for a little bit longer. Not quite neck to neck as they're coming up through traffic as they go to turn number 1. That Audi right in the way of the AFMG car, and he turns him! Figgy Boy gets turned by the AFMG machine! No damage, he'll be able to continue, but Figgy Boy now falls back to the 4th, maybe even 5th position. Might even lose that now. Derluki now gets by Saki as well. They're not by yet. Oh, 3 wide. And Derluki stuck on Saki using traffic. Incredible job. Now Derluki is suddenly back into the 2nd position. And Saki slips back to 3rd. Sinerius now, after that big runoff circuit earlier, is now back up to the 4th spot. So while Enrique is absolutely in a zone of his own, everything from 2nd on back to about 6th is absolute chaos and anarchy. Figgy Boy is going to be just barely ahead of this one lad, but one lad is in this monstrous straight line Porsche. He's going to try and run down on Figgy Boy here. Trying to get around traffic. You can see Figgy Boy just a little bit ahead. One lad's getting really close to Figgy Boy here this time by. Interesting thing was how we saw DMS Sherry elect to pit very early. And there it is, one lad around the outside. So one lad back into the top 5 all over again. Mind you, he's on a wildly alternate strategy. He's already made a 2nd pit stop. Most everyone else near the front has only made 1 thus far. So whatever is going on with that Porsche, I think he's figured something out. Although now he loses the position to Figgy Boy again after missing the braking zone in turn 1. Out of the hairpin. You see this one lad, once he gets up to speed, there's nothing you can do to stop him. It's like he's about 15 miles an hour faster than everyone in the straights, but in the infield section, he struggles so much. But as this has gone on, his struggles seem to be a little bit more controlled. He seems to be having a little bit better time of it. Drivers ahead dealing with a little bit of traffic there. Derlucci has pulled away from Saki a bit, as Saki now has to deal with Sinarius. Sinarius clears traffic there. Here's Figgy Boy. He's got to deal with traffic. He's got to deal with this one lad. One lad trying to go the extreme outside there. Enrique paying out of the lead now. Here comes one lad. He's going to go to the outside, side by side as they come down into the bus stop chicane. He could not complete the overtake, but there's a Merker right in the way. Side by side between these two as they go into the bus stop chicane. The Merker is still there. And I think Figgy is going to hold it over one lad. One lad to take the extreme outside line, but he's still coming. One lad is still coming around the outside. Still side by side. The Porsche is still neck and neck with the Mercedes. He clears them. And Figgy Boy says, I've had enough. He jumps into the pits now. And now we see Derlucci go into the lead, and one lad now cycles into second position. But how much longer is Derlucci going to stay out here? His tires are already at 50.8% right now. Boy, the first 40 minutes of this race has been absolutely wild, and everyone who's making their second stop now, they're coming to a four-stop strategy. Derlucci might be on a four-stop strategy, but with a little bit more of a playing window that he's trying to work with here. And then you have Silent Drifter, who's now moved up into the fifth spot. He is on the three-stop strategy. You also have AMS Bread, who we've not really talked a whole lot about. He ran soft, but since then, he's not made his third stop yet. I do imagine he'll probably make another stop shortly here. I think he's gone soft, medium here, being held up by Mo Stretch, who is second in the GTO category. Enrique, after pitting, is still in third. Nobody is around him. I do think Enrique has this stint victory on lock as long as there's no self-inflicted accidents, no spins or anything. I think this HYR Esports entry is definitely putting themselves back into overall contention now of everyone here in the C lobby. And AFC Cypher has now dropped out of the event. We'll try to reach out to Cypher and see if he wants to say anything, but that is another dropout in the prototype category. So now we're down to just 10 drivers in prototypes and 5 in GTs. One lad now pitting out of the second spot. Derlucci still leads. He has yet to make his second stop. I think that Derlucci may be trying to do something where he goes on a four-stop strategy, but instead of putting on mediums for the final stint, I wonder if he's considering throwing on softs for the final stint. He's willing to take the hit and lap time now to get some advantage in a shorter pit stop and faster tires at the very end. One lad's going to end up behind Bread, behind Silent Drifter after making a stop. He is technically the first driver to have made 3 stops in today's event. This is Saki just ahead of Sinarius here. It looks like for the moment everything has finally calmed down just a little bit. I think it's calmed down a little bit. Sadly, GTO, per usual, has completely spread itself apart. All the fighting in GTO is already dissolved. And again, it seems like Joe Kimbo is the only driver willing to go 3 stops here. I almost wish we could see Joe Kimbo and Rockshock go at it here in Stint 6. Because it seems like Joe Kimbo and Rockshock are the class in the field in the bottom category, but they've just never been in the same stint with each other. Alright, we are going to go ahead and ride on board with AFMG Saki for a flying lap here around Daytona as we knock out a Twitch mandated ad break. We'll be back momentarily here at Daytona. Things are still getting settled here. Don't go away. right, ladies and gentlemen, we want to welcome you back here to Daytona. AMS Brett has now made his third stop of the day, so that will cycle him behind one lad. Your leader is Derluki, who is going a very long distance on these tires. Again, I think Derluki is trying to do a heavy modification of the four-stop strategy. Thing is, he is going to lose so much time to Henrique right now. I don't know how much it's really going to work out for him. Henrique seems to be running something closer to the traditional four-stop strategy that we are seeing over the course of this event. Derluki surely is going to be paying at the end of this lap, though. Silent Drifter is up into the third position. They are running an alternate strategy of their own as well, going for what we believe is a three-stop strategy. So we expect that they will make their second stop in about 3 minutes, so about 2 more full laps, and then we'll likely see Silent Drifter make their stop as Derluki finally makes their pit stop and Henrique goes back into the lead. Interestingly enough, all 10 of our drivers are still on the lead lap together. Keep an eye on this one lad. In the Porsche, he is in 5th position, trying to run down on AFMG Saki. He's already run down and cleared Sinarius. One lad seems to have figured something out with the Porsche, and while I don't think it's in contention for an overall stint win like it got in the first stint, he's definitely making something of this here. Meanwhile, in the GTO category, the threat of a fight for lead is starting to bubble up again. Joe Kimbo is still your leader. He has led all the laps thus far, but Most Stretch is running him down. Again, we believe that Most Stretch is on a 4-stop strategy and Kimbo is on a 3-stop, so it may not matter. But Most Stretch does seem to be reeling Joe Kimbo back in. They were on top of each other early on, but traffic got into both of them, and Most Stretch ended up the worst off, fell well off the back of Joe Kimbo after traffic navigation. Now they're in cleaner air for the moment. Is this the real case? Oh, one lad's already by Saki? That took way less time than I thought it would. Wow. One lad is absolutely flying on his own right now in that Porsche, but he still is struggling to keep the thing under him. Saki's going to try and fight back on the outside line, but one lad now's got the power down. Still neck and neck through Speedway Turn 3, neck and neck through Speedway Turn 4. As they come off the banking, finally one lad goes and holds on to the third position now. He's still quite a ways back from Silent Drifter, nowhere near Henrique at the moment, though. They have a slide, and now Saki's going to go right back by. As one lad continues to struggle with that Turn 1, he's still in the dirt. Might lose a position to Derluki, depending on how this goes. Mind you, Sinarius isn't too far behind Derluki either. Meanwhile, H-Fire Henrique has caught the leaders in the GTO category. He's by Stretch. Now he goes to the inside of Kimbo. Will clear Kimbo. Did that hold up Kimbo enough for Stretch to get a run on him? It might have. Stretch might now have a bit of a draft on Joe Kimbo. Is this the move that Stretch needs to try and get back around Kimbo and go to the lead? He has not led since the first 15 minutes of Stint 1. This car has not led since the first 15 minutes of Stint 1. Can he turn that around? Can he change it? He's not close enough to make a move into Turn 1 this time. But he has gotten much closer to Joe Kimbo than he has the last few circuits. Just about noticed there. Ooh, a bit of a slide there by Joe Kimbo coming out of the first infield hairpin. Now they come through that high-speed bend. Bit of a drift and slide. They've got traffic coming up, mind you. That will be Silent Drifter who's about to catch them. But mind you, Silent Drifter, he'll catch them and then he'll pit Well, I think he's going to be pitting shortly. He's not even made his second stop yet. He's actually pushing this stint quite a bit farther than I thought he would. But still, I think Silent Drift will be pitting anytime, so he might not have a direct impact on Yokimbo and Stretch here. Meanwhile, in this gaggle of cars fighting for the prototype positions, one lad trying to run back down on AFMG Saki. They're navigating traffic. They're clear traffic. Into the bus stop chicane once again. This is where Saki has been significantly better than one lad. One lad had a better entry. Oh, he's closed in. This might be it. This might be all he needs. He's close enough to get a run on Saki. But if he gets by him, he needs to not miss the braking zone in turn 1, which is what he's done the last few times. Coming around the outside. Out of turn number 4, he's clear. One lad back into the podium spots. But he needs to brake early enough so he doesn't go wide. This time it's Saki who's going to go wide as he's trying to diamond the corner exit. Can't make it stick, so one lad has it for now. Silent Drifter navigates his way around the GTO leaders. And Mo Stretch now starting to lose ground to Kimbo again. These two get close, and then they spread out, and then they get close, and then they spread out. HYR Henrique is the only driver on the oval part of the circuit. Everyone else is in the road course. So Henrique's got the cleanest of clean air right now. And Silent Drifter also now is in relatively clean air, but the bad news for Silent Drifter, he'll likely have to pit at the end of this lap, so he's not really going to be able to take much use of all this clean air. One lad in third position. He is running a radically alternate strategy all on his own, and his tires are just about cooked, so I think he might be pitting at the same time as Silent Drifter. Is one lad going for the all-soft strategy? That would be a 6 or 7 pit stop strategy if that ends up being what he goes for. As now he is navigating his way around traffic. Silent Drifter pitting now second spot. One lad, is he going to pit this time or is he going to stay out for another lap? As he is still fighting with AFMG Saki. He'll stay out for another time. So now it's Sinerius and Derluki who's going to come up on the leaders in the GTO category. Right on board with Sinerius. Derluki took the longer way around, but he's clear of one of them. He's clear second place. Now they come up on the GTO leader. They get to the inside. They're both going to get to the inside. Deny the leader in GTO the ideal lane. That's going to let that fight for the GTO lead close up just a little bit now. So all of a sudden, Mo Stretch is a little closer to Yokimbo again. There's still more traffic coming. Figgy Boy is on the way up, but if he catches him in a straight line, it probably won't have too much of an impact on this group. Yeah, he's going to catch him in a straight line. I don't think he'll have too much of an impact on them. Well, this is the most intense action that Yokimbo has had to deal with most of the day today, as he's trying to get his team back on top in this event. GTO car goes to the high side just because he doesn't want to be compromised by the prototype. Neither of these guys are doing great with traffic management. Oh gosh. That's AMS Bread, who's on his own alternate strategy. He now clears the leaders in category. One lad and Saki still close enough to give each other a grief, but Saki does seem to be bleeding out time to one lad. Thing is, one lad is burning up those rear tires. If I was him, I would pit at the end of this lap because I would not have confidence. Oh, and Saki's gone off! Saki goes off in the second hairpin. He will not hit anything, but now he falls behind Derluki, might even fall behind Sinerius. And now one lad has a lot of clean air between himself and the next closest car. The fight for second is something else today. Henrique is in a zone of his own, but every spot from second on down seems to be completely up in the air. And now Saki has a run on Sinerius. Druluki leads Sinerius and Saki. One lad pitting this time by. So he got at least part of a clean lap here. With no traffic. Here comes the move. Sinerius around the outside of Druluki. They got Saki just a little bit behind, ready to capitalize if something goes wrong here. And Sinerius completes the overtake on Druluki. All nose to tail. Oh, and there's contact! There's contact between them all! And there goes Saki by all of them! A little bit of contact, and Saki shoots back into the second position on track. Figgy Boy goes back to 5th, AMS Bread to 6th, PM1 to 7th, One Lad falls to 8th, and Sherry falls to 9th as he pitted this time as well. Silent Drifter actually might nip them both here. So yeah, everyone from 2nd to 10th is relatively close to each other on track. When one of them pit, they almost automatically go to last. But, yeah, so 2nd through 10th could go a lot of different ways. Henrique is in a zone of his own, but every spot from 2nd to 10th is completely up in the air here in the prototypes. Meanwhile, in the GTO category, most stretch trying to manage traffic, so traffic compromises the GTO category leader, but it just is not working quite the way he wants it to. This three-way fight with Saki, Sinerius, and Druluki all on, and now Sinerius has the run on Saki. Saki defends the inside, Sinerius outside, neck and neck between the two as they come up to the start-finish line. The Mazda's gonna pass the Mazda. Still side by side between the Mazdas it's gonna be a crossover move, and Sinerius gets him with the crossover. Big twitch by Saki. He's still sideways. Hits the inside wall. He's around. He's gonna bring Druluki around with him. He's spinning, siding. He's backwards and comes to a stop. Both cars make one more impact. There's no damage between the two of them by the looks of it. Yeah, no damage between these two cars, but now Figgy Boy is back into the play, and Sinerius will open up a gap on the two of them. Sinerius will open up quite a respectable gap on the two of them, and now Figgy Boy is ahead of Druluki and right behind Saki now. Big dive bomb! What in the devil is that, Druluki? Well, he shoves Figgy Boy off the ideal line, side by side between the Aston Martin and the Mercedes as they come into Speedway Turn 1. Still side by side as they dive it down to Speedway Turn 2. This is going to give Saki a chance to maybe pull away from this duo. The Mercedes is going to fall. No, he's still there. They're still side by side, still in a dead heat. They make a little bit of door-to-door contact. Who breaks later? They make contact going into the corner. Figgy Boy gets the move. Druluki backs out of it. And now Figgy Boy has to set his sights on AFMG. Saki up ahead. Saki trying to run down Sinerius, but Sinerius has opened up a massive gap now. I am so glad I requested to stream Stints 5 and 6. This is incredible. So 1 hour of racing now has elapsed here at Daytona. And while Henrique is walking off with this win, completely uncontested, every spot from 2nd to 10th in prototypes is completely up in the air. It could be literally anyone who will finish 2nd to 10th. Honestly, it is so up in the air. I have no idea how it's going to play out. There's also the outside chance that we could see a fight between Joe Kimbo and Mo Stretch for the lead in the GTO category. But while we keep getting teased by that, it's not developed yet. And now Druluki gets by Figgy Boy. Henrique pitting out of the lead this time by. There's a car that's slow there in the bus stop chicane. That's Two Stone. Two Stone limping around. Whatever happened, he's lost a huge chunk of time. He's still running though. So Henrique finally pits. But he's going to end up behind LMP Dragon and Two Stone, unless these two end up pinning. Yeah, so he's gonna end up behind them. But I think he's well clear of Sinerius here. Shouldn't have to worry about Sinerius, who he's had his own moments. He's gone off at least once, if not twice, but he's all sent back in a second, and now he's pitting as well. So all these drivers pitting with 40 minutes left, so all these drivers are committing to what is a 4-stop strategy. Derluki seems to be the exception. Derluki is going to stay out a little bit longer. He'll move up into 2nd spot. And 3rd spot is going to go to AMS Bread. A reminder, AMS Bread is on a wildly alternate strategy of his own as well. One lad who has already made 4 stops, we think he may be on a 6-stop strategy. He's likely going to go up to about the 4th place on track here. Yeah, he's going to clear all of these drivers without too much issue. I think he may be on a slightly harder tire compound as well. He might finally be turning in a run on the mediums so he doesn't fall too far behind by making extra stops. So Silent Drifter now up into 5th. Again, he is the only driver in the prototypes we believe is still in the 3-stop strategy right now. And finally, everyone has kind of spread out for a little bit. It's taken forever. Are these two about to try and go at it? No, it's not the same two. Okay. Yeah, that is Dragon and Two-Stun. Okay. Well, we are going to go ahead and do a Twitch-mandated ad break. And when we come back, we might see that crazy fight for 2nd to 10th develop again. We're going to spin a lap on board with our leader, HYR Henrique, while we are away. Don't go away. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to Daytona. HYR Henrique is in a zone of his own, and barring something absolutely catastrophic happening, there is no way anyone touches him for this win. But every spot from 2nd on back, completely up in the air, all sorts of strategies, many different kinds of mistakes and context. I think almost every single driver from 2nd back to 10th has been involved in some sort of off-track excursion. Derluki is currently the one in 2nd place as he is on a strategy. I think he's on a little bit more aggressive 4-stop strategy, trying to run these medium tires ultra long. I think he might be trying to jump onto softs on the final stint here, try to be on a faster, fresher tire near the very end. He's got AMS Bread behind him. Bread, I believe, is on a 5-stop strategy. He'll likely be pitting sooner rather than... Yeah, he's going to have to pit near the end of this, and he'll still have one more stop after that, because we still have 35 minutes left here at Daytona. Then you get to one lad. One lad, I think, is on a 6-stop strategy. Unless he wants to go all mediums to the end, then he'll probably be something closer to 5. But I think he's on a 6-stop strategy. I think one lad has realized that the Porsche, the setup that he has, just does not have the handling in it for him to get away with running on the harder tire compound. So he's probably saying something close to, screw it, I'd rather just be farther behind in the predicted distance, but not have to worry about the car going completely out of my control. And yes, there we are, AMS Bread pitting out of the 3rd position. So all of the other spots seem to have spread out a bit. Everyone seems to have opened up a gap now. So finally, things have started to calm down here. It only took 65 minutes, but everything's finally calmed down a bit. As we're in the final 34-minute run to the end here. I believe the entire rest of the field has anywhere from 1 to 2 more stops to make. Again, the wildest thing is, right now, everyone in the top 10 are all still on the lead lap, and it's not like Enrique is super close to putting 10th place a lap down. Now, the way that drivers making extra pit stops play out might change how that goes, but as it is, the pace between 2nd and 10th are all relatively close. Derlucci is also not too far off the back of Enrique, but that's only because Derlucci is running a wildly alternate strategy. I don't think it's a 3-stop. I think he is running a 4-stop, but he is running a more aggressive 4-stop, really trying to burn up the tires and use all of them in the earlier stints, because I anticipate that he is going to make a 4th stop late and will throw on soft tires to try and outrun everyone at the very tail end of this event. But yeah, we are back to a scenario where everyone in the top 4 positions are running alternate strats. The first 2 stints, strategies were all over the place. Stint 3 and Stint 4, strategies homogenized quite a bit. We really only had one driver not doing a 4-stop strategy. And now we're back to Stint 5, and all the strategies are deviating again. But in the GTO category, nope. It's still been, everyone is committing to the 4-stop strategy, except for the inevitable stint winner. And that right now is setting up to be Joe Kimbo, who is running around right now. He's only made 2 stops. With the rate that he's been going, I would imagine he'll make his next stop in a lap or 2. And that will be his final stop. That 3rd stop will be his last stop. But Most Stretch, who's running in 12th, I believe still has another stop to make after this. So he's not going to be anywhere close. While Most Stretch has had the on-track pace to maybe not fight, but at least stalk Joe Kimbo and put him under some pressure, he is on a losing strategy that's just not going to work out for him in the slightest. Still waiting to see when Derlucci is going to go ahead and jump into the pits here with 31 minutes to go. His tires are cooking. He's got fuel, but again, I imagine he'll jump in this lap, throw on mediums, run those to the end, and then he could probably throw on softs. He's not paying this time either, though. Again, Derlucci knows that he's not really fighting Enrique. Derlucci knows he's fighting for 2nd against everybody else. And you have this one lad back here in the 3rd position right now, as Joe Kimbo finally pits out of the lead. So yeah, that will be his last stop, more than likely. We're definitely going to see one lad pit at the end of this circuit. And that means that he'll get to the line, he'll get to pit lane with about 29 minutes left. About 29 minutes left. You can jump in, throw on soft tires, run them till they're burned out. Jump in, soft tires, run them till they're burned out. So I think one lad is on a 6-stop strategy right now, trying to use pure pace to make something happen. Fighting starting to develop again here in the midfield. AMS Bread and Figgy Boy about to catch each other once more. Now, Bread has already made a 4th stop. He is on what we believe is a 5-stop strategy. Excuse me. And then behind him is Figgy Boy, who is on the more common 4-stop strategy. Or at least we believe that Figgy Boy is on the 4-stop strategy. They also have DMS Sherry just a little bit farther back as well. One lad now pits out 3rd. Derlucci still has yet to make his 3rd stop with a little less than 30 minutes left. Now, if Derlucci wanted, he might consider throwing on the hard tires and maybe make it a 3-stop strategy. It would be a bold strategy, but that might be what Derlucci is going to go for here. The only other driver running a 3-stopper is Silent Drifter. Drifter right now is running 3rd on track. But again, he still has to make a stop, and when he does, he's going to fall behind Sinerius. Saki, basically Drifter, when he makes his final stop, is likely going to go to last place here. Still, we're following Figgy Boy as he is stalking AMS Bread right now. "28 minutes to go here." Again, you pit now, while the hards would be hurting, you could go to the end on hards, potentially. But if you can stay out for another 8-9 minutes, you can throw all the mediums. Derluki pits this time by. So I'm really curious, is he going to put in a massive fuel load? If he puts in a massive fuel load, that would suggest that he is going to throw on the hards to the end. 70%. I don't know if that's going to be enough for the hards. It's a big fuel load, but I do not know if that's going to be enough for the hard tires to go to the end here. We'll keep an eye on that. Maybe he's put on mediums and will throw on softs late, like we were talking about earlier. We'll see. Silent Drifter still has yet to make his third stop, as Sinerius gets around him, going around the long way. But again, Sinerius, we anticipate, also will have to pit relatively soon. Well, not relatively soon. I think he only has one more stop to make, and he'll probably throw on mediums. So I think Sinerius, even though he had that big off, he spent like a good 5 seconds off track, just out in the middle of nowhere, quite literally shouting the "We out here" meme. And Sinerius is still recovering from that and may have a shot at the second place. But again, 2nd through 10th, all close enough. I think one lad might be screwed just because tires are not looking great for him. He'll have to make another stop still, and he's already running last. But overall, I think every position from 2nd to 10th is pretty much up in the air. So now it's Derluki, Bread, and Figgy Boy. So Figgy Boy has come up, and he's now putting pressure on Bread as Derluki's opening up a bit of a gap on him. So Derluki's getting back up to snuff with those tires nice and quickly here. What is Derluki's tire life looking like? Oh, he's definitely put on hards. Okay, so I think it's pretty easy to say that Derluki is planning on not stopping again. I'm moderately confident Derluki is not stopping again. I'm like, 75% confident. So AMS Bread trying to keep Figgy Boy behind him. Figgy in the lone Mercedes, AMS Bread in one of the Astons. Oh, big slide by Bread in turn 1. Figs right there. And they're both just about to catch Derluki here. Down into the hairpin once again. Can't make it stick there. Nothing that time. Power down. They're gone. Big struggling just a little bit to keep up with Bread. Again, we're anticipating that Bread's on a 5-stop, Fig's on a 4-stop, so both of these drivers should have one more stop to make. They're coming up on Derluki, who we believe does not have another stop to the end. 25 minutes left here in the event. All right, so Bread's got to run on Derluki now. He's got better tires, probably less fuel. He's got good speed as well. Closes right. Oh, Derluki needs to be careful. Very nearly lost it coming out of the bus stop chicane. And here comes Bread around the outside. Figgy Boy's going to follow him around the outside. Or he's trying to follow him around the outside. Does he have the speed? Well, these two are stuck behind him. They're making a big hole in the air. But there's nowhere for him to get by. Does he try and make it 3 wide? No, he's not trying to make it 3 wide. He wants to hold the inside line. Let these two figure it out before he goes for the move. Sherry pits farther back with 24 minutes left. It's not really an ideal time for Sherry. Oh, and that's Bread going off. Bread made contact with Derluki, and he's gone off. And he'll fall behind them all. No damage to the car. He'll still be able to go. But Fig will clear Derluki, and now Fig starts running away. Sinerius is also trying to pull away from Silent Drifter, and Silent Drifter is slowly being caught by this man here, AFMG Saki. But again, Silent Drifter still has yet to make another stop. I think Drifter, if he can stay out here for another 4 minutes or so, he'll be able to throw on medium tires and go to the end. I thought maybe he was, yeah. So I think he's going to go for mediums here. A 3-stop, hard medium. He is being run down by AFMG Saki. Saki's tires are in really bad condition also. So whenever Saki pits, he's going to pit either the same lap as Drifter or 1 lap later, and they'll likely be putting on the exact same kind of tires. Meanwhile, in the GTO category, Most Stretch is once again closed in on Joe Kimbo. The problem though, Most Stretch is on track to have to make a 4th pit stop. Joe Kimbo will not. I'm really curious as to what DMS Sherry's strategy is going to be, because I don't see it really working out for him in a great way. Also, right now, DMS Sherry is on track to go a lap down, but if he's made things work out that he doesn't have to pit again, then he probably shouldn't have to worry about that, because Enrique is going to be pitting shortly here. Derluki and Bread back at it again. These two made contact earlier, and Bread went off. Now Bread's going to try and get back by him. Down to the second infield hairpin. Ooh, big wide line by Derluki. A little bit of contact. But they both keep it on this time. Derluki clears Bread. But again, Derluki, we believe, is not making another stop. We believe he is going to stay on track to the end of this race on these tires. 22 minutes left. He's got 55% in the fuel tank, 14% on the tire wear. Yeah, I think Derluki is going to stay out to the end on this set of tires. These hards will be what he runs to the end here. Now, everyone ahead of him has to pit again, but when they all pit, they're going to have way better rubber than he does. But he's not massively behind them. He's going to gain a lot of time when those drivers ahead do start pitting. 22 minutes left. Silent Drifter now finally jumping into the pits. This is a little bit earlier than anticipated, but if he's going to throw on a set of medium tires, he'll be a little slower at the end, but he's going to be in a relatively good position. He's the first driver. Well, not really the first, but he's going to be one of the first drivers to make the last pit stop here. So Sinarius up into the second position now. Once again, he's got a good gap between himself and AFMG Saki. Saki trying to stay away from Figgy Boy, and then you have Bread and Derluki. Derluki's just kind of hanging out behind Bread, just trying to use the draft off of his car to artificially get him a little bit faster around in these laps. And yes, Silent Drifter, while he is making this stop, he is going to end up, I think, just a little bit ahead of DMS Sherry and H&R Henrique pitting this time by. So your race leader is finally making his final stop in this stint. Looking at Sinarius, how much longer is he going to stay out? Maybe another lap or two. But we're going to go ahead and take a Twitch-mandated ad break, and when we come back, we will see the final pit stops and how everyone's going to shake out on tires and position to the end. Don't go away. When we come back, we will be here to the end of the stint. Oh wow, it's happened. Stretch has gotten by Kimbo. Ah, Kimbo has engine damage. Stretch is almost out of fuel, so it doesn't really matter. It happened again. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to Daytona. 19 minutes left. Sainier is paying out a second, but this driver here, this one lad, has had an accident on this lap. Now, the good news is he'll be able to make a stop, throw on some medium tires, and run to the end. The bad news is that he is likely going to get knocked down to 10th, dead last in the field, by virtue of all the damage on the car and the necessity to make this extra stop earlier than he wanted. So this is likely going to take him out of running for anything better than a 10th place position. But Sainier, Saki, Figgy Boy, PM1 all have made their fourth and final stop now. AMS Bread has cycled out into second place on track. But again, we think that Bread is on a 5-stop strategy that he will have to make another stop. So that will hand the lead over to, well, not the lead, will hand second place over to Durluki here. Running in third right now, will inherit second. Assuming that Durluki is good on fuel to the end with 18 minutes left. We've got 44% in the tank. His tires should be good. Durluki just needs to try and hope that he can stay well ahead of everyone behind, because he's on worn hard tires. Everyone else is going to be on mediums. Bread might push the issue and try to throw on softs if he wants to go really far. I don't know how confident I'd be in that, but if he wants to stay out for another 3 laps or so, he might consider throwing on soft tires. Yeah, we're going to be here to the end of this stint. 17 and a half minutes to go, and we will be back for stint 6 right after this one. All right, back into the bank tri-oval. Again, Bread holding station over Durluki, but he's not running away from Durluki. And the thing is, he needs to be destroying Durluki in lap times right now in order to have a serious shot at catching him again. But the driver who is outright going to win this, with no doubt in anyone's mind, HYR Henrique, barring a disconnect or a catastrophic accident, Henrique is so far ahead of everyone else. This HYR car that came home second in the last 2 stints looks like they are on track to finally win here. It will be the 4th different driver to win, and 4th different team as well, to win in 5 different stints thus far today. When does Bread make his stop? That is the big question. He's at 53.6% wear, but he still has 8.6 in the fuel tank. He could probably go one more lap after this. That would get him to, what, 34 minutes left? Yeah, about 34 minutes left. The last 14 minutes on sauce. Well, he'd pit, so that would take another minute off. I think Bread could do this. I think if he does not pit at the end of this lap, if he pits at the lap after this one, he could throw on some soft tires and just absolutely destroy everyone around him with faster rubber. The thing is, how far back is he going to end up? Will he end up behind Sainierius, behind Saki, behind Drifter, behind Figgy Boy? I think he would still be ahead of Sherry and well ahead of PM1 and this lad easily. This lad is the only driver a lap down right now. Okay, yeah, so Bread is definitely going to pit after this is over. Real quick, just give you an idea. Henrique, while it's not been a true flag-to-flag lead, he's led a good chunk of this race after everyone did their first round of pit stops. But Durluki up 7 spots from where he started. Sainierius up 7 spots from where he started. Bread, although he's going to lose some positions once he makes a stop, but he's up from where he started. Figgy Boy actually started right near the front. He's way down in 7th now. One lad down from where he started. TU 528 down from where he started. All right, and Most Stretch has pitted. I didn't mention it earlier, but we did have Most Stretch overtake Kimbo. But that is because Kimbo has got a little bit of engine damage. Not a lot, but he has received a bit of engine damage, which has slowed him down. The thing is, everyone else in the GTO category doing a 4-stop strategy. Joe is doing a 3-stop. The 3-stop strategy is the way to go in the GTO category, but outside of Joe Kimbo and I forgot the winner in the Audis for the last 2 stints, no one else, almost no one is willing to commit to 3 stops in the bottom category. So while we have had some fights for the lead here, the victory margins for the most part have been absolutely gigantic. All right, here we are, Bread pitting with 14.5 minutes left. So he's going to come out with about 13.5 minutes left on the soft tires. His tires will be a little bit cooked near the end, but he's going to have a light fuel load and soft tires to the end. This will be interesting. Keep an eye on Brad. How far back, though, is he going to end up once he comes out of the pits? This here is Figgy Boy staying just ahead of Silent Drifter. Drifter is on that 3-stop strategy, and we believe Silent Drifter is on the mediums. Mediums aren't going to be in great position by the end, but we believe that he is on mediums. Sinerius now moves up into third. Derluki is in second by a massive margin over Sinerius, but Sinerius is running the gap down slowly but surely. Brad coming out of pit lane. Is he going to be ahead of this fight? He's even with this fight. He'll be just ahead of Figgy Boy. So Brad comes out in 5th position, but he should be on soft tires to the end. As long as the draft isn't super powerful and helping Figgy stay with Brad, Brad should be able to put down some insane laps and maybe run Saki down to the end. Sinerius will be a little bit more up in the air. I think Derluki's just not going to happen. I think that gap's a little bit too big. Ooh, both the prototype and the Audi sliding wide. Here comes Figgy Boy to the inside. Figgy's going to clear Brad. Brad trying to make the outside line stick here. Right on board, Silent Drifter just behind this duo. Brad's got the better tire, but he's not going to push the issue. Oh, he hits him from behind! And they're both going to go off. And Brad's off again. And now Brad slips to 7th, and Fig goes up to 5th. Well, that, even if Brad's on better tires, a mistake like that's basically going to derail it. I think that takes Brad out of the running for a podium. So now it's just going to be, is there any chance for Saki to catch Sinerius? I don't think there is. Real quick, just to look at our drivers to make sure everyone has the fuel to the end. 12 minutes to go. 44% here for Henrique, so no issue for fuel for him. Derluki, I'm a little bit more iffy on their fuel numbers. 28% with 12 minutes left. It's tight. I think Derluki could make it, but it's tight on fuel for him. Sinerius here in 3rd place with a little less than 12 minutes left. He's got 50%. There's not going to be a fuel issue for him at all. For 4th place, AFMG Saki. He's got 50%, no issue for fuel for him. 5th place is Figgy Boy. 41%, no issue on fuel for him. Silent Drifter here in 6th. He's got 45. I'm not worried about his fuel at all. The only driver that I'm a little bit worried about fuel to the end is Derluki. And it's not he's not going to make it. It's just kind of like, it'll be a little tight. But he has enough of a gap on Sinerius that he could probably lift and coast a few times in the remaining laps, and he'll be fine. Bit more than 11 laps left. All right, hard tires versus soft tires. Brad is not being super... He's got the soft tires, but he is not being super aggressive trying to pass these cars, it seems. That might be enough to keep Saki in 4th. I don't think that 2nd, 3rd, or 4th are in a position to really impact each other. The fight might just be here for 5th and 6th. And to a lesser extent, 7th. There we are, side by side. This should be an easy overtake by Brad. He's got fresher tires, a lighter fuel load around the outside. He goes nice and deep into the corner. Easy move. Interesting case in the GTO category. All 5 of our runners are running on the lead lap right now. In the prototype category, everyone is on the lead lap except for our 10th place driver right now. Now, granted, if someone had an accident, that would undo that. But yeah, our top 9 in prototypes out of the 10s are still running, all still on the lead lap. The wild card will likely end up being Derluki, because if Derluki does not have the fuel to the end, is he going to try and stay out and just limp it around, or is he going to try and duck it into the pits? We saw the HYZ entry here. Not the HYZ, no, it was a different one. It was the DMS entry. Run out of fuel back in Stint 1 and went from 2nd to a distant 3rd by running out of fuel with 20 seconds to go. All right, looking back at this fight between Figgy Boy and Bread here. Or an attempted fight, because Bread still has not caught Figgy Boy yet. If anything, Silent Drifter is putting more pressure on Bread than Bread is moving forward. I don't think Bread put on softs. Bread may have put on the medium tires instead. That might explain a little bit. Kind of a shame then. Because, yeah, he's not going to have any tire fall off. Everyone around is going to have some tire fall off, but I feel like it would have been better to have those laps on softs and then just be trying to deal with tire fall off while everyone else is also dealing with tire fall off. You know, 5-stop strategy, trying to make it work here. Eight and a half minutes left, roughly. I look at Derluki, who runs in second. He is at 19% in the fuel tank. Again, I'm not super confident that Derluki can... Well, yeah, I'm not super confident, but I am more confident that he will make it than not. I think I would put it at like a 75% chance that Derluki has the fuel to make it to the end here. 18.1% going into turn 1 there. That right rear is also burning up. Ironically, that's actually going to help him because that will encourage him to be on the throttle a little bit less. Okay, so it looks like the word is that, yes, AMS Bread is on the medium tire to the end here. DMS Sherry pitting. I said earlier when he made a stop way earlier that he pitted on a weird period. I didn't feel like I had a lot of confidence that he could make it to the end. And sure enough, he is not. He is pitting now with 7.5 minutes to go. The only good news is that he is so far ahead of one lad after one lad's accident that he'll likely maintain 9th place. This will likely secure 8th for TU528 as well. So now we're starting to see the bottom of the prototype grid starting to finalize itself. All right. 7 minutes left. Derluki runs in second still. He's got 15.0% in the tank. My confidence, I would drop my confidence a bit. I think I'd put my confidence in Derluki down to about 65%. Yeah, I think I'd drop about 10% confidence. Now, if Derluki is like doing a lot of lift and coast, I think he could still make this happen. And still come home second over Sinerius. He is way clear of Sinerius. But if he pits, he guarantees falls behind Sinerius, so... I'd say my confidence in Derluki is down to about 15%. He should have put in another 10% in the fuel tank, I guess. Yeah, so DMS Sherry now goes a lap down to Henrique as well. Henrique absolutely in a zone of his own today. There have been several different leaders early on when everyone was jumping onto different strategies, but as this has gone on, Henrique is absolutely in a zone of his own. He is about a third of a lap ahead of Derluki, and I'm losing confidence in Derluki's ability to make it to the end. And then third place, Sinerius, he's like half a lap ahead of Sinerius. Everyone from third to 10th is about within almost half a lap of each other. And then it's almost another half lap from first to third. Figgy Boy still ahead of Bread right now. He's actually pulling the gap just a little bit here. What is his tires looking like? 40%, he'll be fine on tires. He does have a little bit of engine damage. That's not going to help him, though. I think AFMG Saki is pretty much locked up fourth. Sinerius, unless he ends up in some sort of catastrophic accident, he's locked up third. And for Sinerius, that would be a fantastic recovery because early on, he got into it with some other drivers, went way off circuit. Spent like a good 5-7 seconds off track, fell way down the grid, but he's driven relatively smartly and, for the most part, alone since then. And everyone else who has been from second on back has been involved in some sort of incident as well. So Sinerius might legitimately cycle back to the front here. Well, the winning strategy still seems to be the 4-stop, but how you make this 4-stop work is still completely up in the air. But if Derluki can bring this thing home, and even if he doesn't bring this thing home, if he just put in 10% more fuel, Derluki would still be in a very respectable second position. The 4-stop, I feel, is definitely the winning strategy, but it's not like in the GTO category where it's like, if you're not running a 3-stop, you're literally just here for attendance. In prototypes, you can run the 4-stop, but if you get into some incidents or just have some mistakes, you could still end up being well behind some 3-stoppers. 4 minutes left on track right now. He is at 8.2%. My confidence in Derluki making it to the end, I think I'd put it down to like 45% now. I'm really losing confidence in Derluki making it to the end. The good news is he can afford to be very cautious on the fuel. He can be letting off the throttle, you know, lift and coast, a lot of lift and coast. He has a lot of gap to burn between himself and Sinerius. We know that he has no chance of running down Henrique, so it's not even worth trying. Even if Henrique had an accident and Derluki wasn't struggling with fuel, Henrique would still likely be able to limp it into the pits, fix the car, and then rush back into the lead. Derluki just needs to be cautious, putting the power down. He needs to let off the gas nice and early so he can roll it smoothly into the corners and just save fuel. A little bit more than 3 minutes left. He's at less than 6%. My confidence is dropping. I don't feel like Derluki's going to make it to the end on fuel. But he may not have to. He might go ahead and let the fuel tank go empty with like 20 seconds left and then just putter the car around. Now, he might still lose third to Sinerius and fourth to Saki. I don't know. I'm less than 3 minutes left. I'm really losing confidence here with Derluki. That gap from first and second is now about 2/3 of the lap in distance, I feel. And it's only going to get bigger as Derluki continues to limp around. 4.3% in the fuel tank with 2.5 minutes left. If his percentage was exactly double the number of minutes left, I would have confidence. He's at 3.4%. I think Derluki is not... I think it's pretty obvious Derluki's not going to pit. He's going to commit to this strat to the end. He's going to run this to the end. 2 minutes left. He's got 2.9% in the fuel tank. He ain't going to make it. 2.9%, that would get him around this lap, but he would not get around any significant difference in the lap afterwards. He's not going to make it. So what's the gap between Derluki and Sinerius now? Oh, Sinerius, if Derluki is going to run out, Sinerius might steal a second place result here. 2.1% now, 2.0 with 93 seconds left. This is not happening. No, Derluki is going to run out here likely at the end of this lap. He might run out of fuel going into turn 1 here as this comes to an end. 1.5 as he's coming onto the straights. He's going to run out. Yeah, I have no... he is not... I don't see him holding on to second at all. Sinerius slows the gap down so much on him. Sinerius can almost see Derluki in some of these corners. Less than a minute now. He's got 0.4. He'll have the power to get out of the bus stop chicane. He'll be on power probably to turn 4. And then that thing's going to start sputtering. And then he'll be limping it down. And mind you, he's committed. With 36 seconds left, he is not allowed to pit. You are not allowed to finish the stint in pit road. So Derluki is going to lose second, I feel, to Sinerius. You can see Sinerius in the back there. As he comes across the line, he's out. The 275 machine is out. Here comes Derluki. He clears him. Sinerius clears him. Sinerius up into second. He's got nothing. He's got nothing at all. Here comes Saki. Saki's going to get him, I think. 4 seconds left. 3 seconds. 2 seconds. 1 second. Time up. Over. Plow. And with that in mind, your stint winner will be HYR Henrique. A little bit of a mess there, but HYR Henrique wins. Finally, the HYR team wins after back-to-back second place finishes. Second place will be Sinerius, the recovery drive of the day. Third place will be AFMG Saki again. Fourth place will be HYZ Derluki. Could have been so much better. He just needed to put 10% more fuel in the tank. 5th place will be AMS Bread, just barely ahead of Figgy Boy in 6th. Silent Drifter will come home a very distant 7th. 8th place will be PM1 TU528. 9th place will be DMS Shirley, just barely a lap down. And 10th place will be This One Lad. In the bottom category, once again, Joe Kimbo, the only driver doing the 3-stop strategy, wins by a gigantic margin, about a quarter of the lap over most Stretch here. But Stretch finally finishes a stint. 2 Stone 147 will be 3rd in category. 4th will be Floppy Disk Hero, and 5th will be LMP Dragon, the highest of the Audis. The only running Audi, I think, at the end. So we're going to go ahead and knock out a Twitch mandated ad break, and when we come back, we will try to get some interviews with some of our top finishers here at Daytona. All right, coming to the party right now is the most Stretch. Stretch, you finally finished a stint. Go ahead and include your audio. What do you have to say about your run out there?
It was good. Car felt great. Wish I'd been able to finish the first time. Props to Kimbo, hell of a driver. Love the battle we had going on for a while. Kind of iffy on the tires at the very end. Probably went the wrong compound, but the safe one is what it is. Props to him. Kept it clean. So, yeah.
Who's going to take over the car for stint 6?
Me.
All right, then I will go ahead. I will let you go then so you can jump into the stint 6 lobby. Thanks for jumping in and talking with us post-stint.
Thank you. Hopefully we get to do it one more time.
Yeah, I'd love to hear from you one more time as well. Peace out.
Have a good one.
All right, sending invites out to our remaining runners. We have gotten an invite into the next lobby, but I'm going to wait just a little bit longer to see if anyone else is going to be able to jump in and try to do post-in interviews with us here. All right, coming to the party right now is HYR Henrique. Henrique, go ahead, include your audio. A dominant win. What do you have to say about that?
Oh, it was this one was a lot easier than the other one because I just stayed calm and raced safe and didn't broke the car because I nearly crashed at the bus stop exit. And when it was remaining 70 minutes to the race end, my rear bumper touched the Porsche, and I hope I didn't broke the Porsche. So,
well, it was a fantastic run. This will definitely put the HYR car on top in C lobby. Who's gonna drive the car in Stint 6?
Let me check here. Just a moment. The next one to drive. Need to check these things here.
It's okay. I can wait just a little bit. Alright, here we are. Everyone else jumping in now. Alright, real quickly, I'm gonna go ahead and start an interview with another driver. I want to start with two Stone.
No, so the next one is.
Oh, yeah.
So the next one is HXR Iris.
Alright, we'll keep an eye on Iris then. Thanks for jumping in, Henrique. Feel free to leave. Good job out there. Alright, real quickly, I want to talk with two Stone. 147. Stone, go ahead, include your audio in the party real quickly. Fantastic drive, good result. What do you have to say about your run out there, Stone?
Yeah, so I kind of took a gamble at the end. I wasn't sure the sauce would make it to the end and ended up getting me an extra position. I mean, I just had to keep my head down that whole time. I kind of had a bad start, and it was just a matter of keeping her going. I had to stay going the right way. Had a couple incidents with some prototypes, but all in all, I can't complain.
All right, who's going to take over that car in Stint 6?
Oh, that would be Hunter. DMS Hunter.
All right, well, we've seen Hunter drive before. We know we have a good idea what to look forward to from him. Stone, thanks for jumping in and talking with us post-Stint.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, now I want to talk real quickly with AFMG Saki. Saki, go ahead, include your audio. Great,
yes,
solid drive. And with a little bit of luck from other drivers, you pulled off another podium. What do you have to say out there?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's good to see FMG doing well.
Anything else of note whatsoever at any point of that run?
What's that, sorry?
Do you have anything else of note to say about your run out there?
No, it was good. It was pretty clean and consistent. A couple wee spins from another couple protos, but we recovered well and happy with the podium.
All right, real quick, I assume AFMG Vorm is going to take over for the next stint?
I think it's Aussie is the next one up from AFMG.
All right, we'll keep an eye out for them then, mate. Great job out there. I look forward to seeing what your team can do in the next stint.
Awesome. Cheers, guys.
All right, now I want to talk with our winner once again, Joe Kimbo. Joe, make sure your audio is included. You are 3 for 3 on stint victories, and all of them have been by massive margins. How in the world are you pulling this off? Outside the obvious, you're the only one making the 3-stop work. How in the world are you pulling this off?
We've managed to make a tune that's both maximize the tire life without sacrificing any of the speed. Because for all the stints we were on the medium, like I think me and Stretch were very, very simple. It was nice having Stretch complete a stint this time rather than having a game like we had in Stint 1. So yeah, it was just again making the most of the tune and making the most strat that we have.
All right, I assume it's TBR Moki who's going to take over the car for the team in the next stint?
That's right.
All right. Thanks for jumping in, talking with us. I'm going to have to let you go so I can cut this broadcast short and start the next broadcast, but great job on 3 for 3 on victories out there.
Thank you very much.
All right, and with that in mind, we'll wrap up our broadcast here for Stint 5, but don't go away. I'm going to start up the Stint 6 broadcast almost right away. So we'll be back momentarily here at Daytona. I'll see you all in about 60 seconds or less.